Module 16, Cloud Migration Deploying YeSkyWeb on Azure App Services. In this module, we will explore deploying YeSkyWeb application to Azure for hosting. So first, let us understand about Azure. Azure is a comprehensive cloud platform with over 200 products and services. Azure offers 4 different forms of cloud computing: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and serverless functions. Infrastructure as a service provides virtualized computing resources over the internet. One example is virtual machine. This virtual machine should be managed by our service. Platform as a service offers a platform to develop, run, and manage applications without dealing with infrastructure. In this case, the infrastructure will be managed by Microsoft. For instance, if we use Azure App Service, our responsibility will be just to develop, run, and manage our applications. The management of the infrastructure will be, that of Microsoft. Software as a service, this one delivers software applications over the internet on a subscription base. One good example is Microsoft Office 365. Serverless function, this one executes code in response to events without managing servers. For instance, Azure Function is a good example. Now there is a reading assignment for you. Please review infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and serverless function to understand their unique benefit and their use case. Now let us see Azure overview from two perspectives: from bigger picture, focusing on the common functionality, and also from detailed perspective, focusing on the specific services. So this way, we can understand Azure from big picture and detailed level perspective to ensure effective management and deployment of application, leveraging Azure's comprehensive features and services. So the common functionality that we have to understand is Azure Portal, Azure Account, Azure Subscription, Resource Groups, and Azure Plans. The Azure Portal is a central hub for administrative tasks. The Azure Subscription is helpful to organize services and resources. Resource Group is helpful to manage related resources collectively. If you have 4 projects with a different budget, then you can have 4 resource groups to manage this different projects based on their budget. We have different Azure plans. We have free tier. There is a limited free access to service with usage codes. Once you finish your free access, you need to have either pay as you go, Azure for Student, Azure Dev Test, or Enterprise Agreement. So this pay as you go is you will pay only for what you use. In the case of Azure for Student, this is a free service for students, but you have to provide, documents that prove you are associated with some kind of universities. Azure Dev or Test, this is a discount rate for development and testing. Enterprise Agreement is a custom term for large organization. So the different services that Azure, some of the different services that Azure provide include web apps, app services. This is a platform as a service. This is a managed platform for web applications. We have Azure SQL database. This is scalable, managed SQL database. We also have compute services such as VMs, container services, Azure Functions. We also have storage services such as Azure Blob Storage for unstructured data. We have also other different storage services. Networking services such as Azure Virtual Network for isolation and connectivity. We also have Azure DevOps, Azure Cognitive Services, Azure Logic Apps. Let's focus the type of deployment services that we can get in Azure. We can have Azure Virtual Machine, or we can have AKS, we can have Azure Function, we can have Azure Container Instances, we can have Azure App Services. We'll focus on these Azure App Services. But the question is why we will focus, why we choose the Azure App Service. So given our project, YeSkyWeb, if we use Azure App Service, we will get the following benefit. But when you want to use other deployment services, you need to analyze the benefit that you will achieve. So from our perspective, if we use Azure App Service, it is very easy for use. It simplifies deployment, and management of the infrastructure will be managed by Microsoft. Just our task will be to deploy our application. And also it is scalable. We can scale vertically or horizontally on our demand. If we have more functionality, more resources on our YeSkyWeb application, we can scale it up. There are also built-in features such as CI/CD, auto-scaling, monitoring, and logging. All these services can be provided using these Azure App Services. For instance, we can monitor our application, what activity has been done, and we can see the logging if there is any error, and also we can scale it up, or we can set up the CI/CD feature for our deployment. We have multiple deployment options. For instance, we can use FTP or Git or Visual Studio or GitHub Actions. There is a high availability of, this is redundancy and load balancing. Please refer this high availability regarding redundancy and load balancing in your reading assignment. There is also a good opportunity of integration. This works seamlessly with Azure SQL Database, Azure Storage, Azure Functions, Azure DevOps. Once you have your application and deploy to Azure App Service, you can have any type of integration seamlessly. So in Azure App Service, we have different type of deployment methods. We can use Visual Studio, we can use GitHub, we can use Azure DevOps pipeline, or we can use Azure CLI and PowerShell scripts. We can use Docker container, ARM template, Azure Functions, FTP, SFTP, Azure Marketplace, and manual deployment. We can choose one of the deployment method. So we will have a demonstration how to use Visual Studio for direct publishing, but your assignment will be to investigate how to deploy using GitHub and Azure DevOps CI/CD as detailed information in module 15. So detailed information has been provided in module 15, how you can use the GitHub and Azure DevOps CI/CD to deploy your application. So now let's go to Azure portal. Once you click this Azure portal, you can see this option. Either you can log in with your existing credential if you have one, or you can create one if you don't have Azure account. So I have already Azure account. I will log in with my credential. So I provided my credential and I am in the Azure portal. So always it is better to be in the home page. You will have a better view to see the different services, the different products, and the different resources. Now, you can create different resources by clicking this Create Resource. Let us see what is there. You can see you can create virtual machine, web app, SQL database, function app, key vault, and so many resources you can create. And the interesting thing is that Microsoft organized the document, and if you want also learn more about that service or that product, this Microsoft Learn page also is organized in one view. So you can directly create, if you have the understanding how to create the virtual machine, how to set up the virtual machine, or if you need to refer the document, you can refer the document. As you remember, you have an assignment to create Azure SQL database. You are supposed to come here and read this documentation or learn some detail by clicking and arriving on this page, and then you can create this SQL database and you can deploy your application. The application is YeSkyWeb application with Azure SQL database. So let us go to the homepage again. So in this homepage, you can see we have the subscription, resource group, cost management, app service plans, app services. We'll create the subscription, the resource group, and also we will create app service plans and also the app services. So this cost management is very important. Even for your free tier, you have to provide your payment method. Here there is a payment method. When you click here, you will have option to provide your payment detail. So that is very important. So the first thing is you should understand what is this subscription, what is this resource group, and what is this app service plans. We have already discussed that. So let us see how to create this subscription. You can click this subscription and create. Currently, I have this disabled subscription. You can add one more subscription, but I have already created one more. It will be available when I refresh it. So I have this subscription one. It is active, so I don't need to create. But to create your subscription, you can click here and you can provide a name, and that will be available. The second service that you have to create is resource group. Resource group is very important to organize your resources. So create resource group. The resource group that I will create will use this subscription one, and the resource group name is resource G. My region is Eastern US. So you have so many options based on the nearness of your business and your location. you can select your region. Now I can review, and I am happy with this one. I can create. So I have now this YeSkyWeb resource group, and it uses this subscription. So let's go to home again. So let's just create again now this app service plans. So if you see this app service plan, I don't have app service. Also, you can create by clicking this create, or you can create this create app service plan. So let me click here. So I will use this subscription one, and also I will use this YeSkyWeb resource group, because this app service needs a subscription and resource group to use them. And app service plan detail, it needs a name. So app service plan YeSkyWeb. So I can easily delete. So the operating system is Windows. The style for you, if it is for the first time, you can choose this free tile. So I will go for this basic one, and I will choose and review. So now I have created app service plan, resource group, subscription. One more thing I need is app service. So in the app service, we can create one app service. This app service has either web app or static web app or web app plus database. So I will focus on the web app part. So my web app will use subscription one, and I have to choose also the resource group, and I should give the name for the web app. So YeSkyWeb underscore web app. So invalid character, so I cannot use this one. Okay. Can I use this one? Okay, this is okay. YeSkyWeb web app. So I want to push the code. If you have a container, you can choose this one. Runtime stack. After the runtime stack, my runtime stack is .NET 6, and I should, select the Windows, and the region is Eastern US. Okay, this is the Eastern US. So the pricing plan here is based on my price plan. So app service plan for YeSkyWeb is the one that I created. So this one will be used. So for the web app, it needs the app service plan, it is a subscription, it needs the resource group. So now if you see, what do I have? Let me see all what I have. I have the type, the app service, I have the resource group, I have the app service plan, I have also the subscription. Is using the subscription too. So I have everything required. Now let's go to the Visual Studio. So once we are in our Visual Studio, once we open our Visual Studio, the first thing we have to do is make sure that it is rebuilt, successfully. So now it is successfully, updating. Where we are doing this is we have to make sure our application doesn't have any error. Let's deploy our application to Azure. To deploy our application to Azure, always be at the project level, not as a solution level. So when you right-click project, you will see this publish, click publish. When you click publish, you will get this option. Where are you publishing today? Azure, folder, IIS or import profile. I want to publish this to Azure. So continue. So here also, which Azure service would you like to use to host your application? So Azure App Service Windows publish your application code to managed infrastructure that is easy to scale. So what does this mean is the infrastructure will be managed by Microsoft, but we will publish our application to Azure App Service. This Azure App Service is an infrastructure as a service, and we will use it and we can scale it, but the management will be handled by the Microsoft team. So now, if you see here, I have a subscription one. And here, if you see, I have YeSkyWeb resource group, YeSkyWeb, web app. This is the one that I created. Next, now it is asking me about API management. So I can skip this API management, but it is important to understand what is the role of this API management. This API management is helpful to have a secure app service because if we use this API management, the outsider clients will interact first with this API management before they hit our app service. So it's important to configure this API management. If you see what is this API management for your understanding, especially when you deploy, your crucial application you should understand and you should use, because this Azure API management is a fully managed service that helps developer to securely expose their APIs to external and internal customers. That means your app service will be, exposed via the Azure API management. Any external client or external service will communicate to your app service using this Azure API management. So it is very helpful, especially for security, to secure your application and for control and for monitoring. So that is important since we are deploying, just for, demonstration purpose. For now, I can skip this step. Next. And publish, generate PUB XML file. Deploy application to target on click of publish button. So next, finish. So once you see this page, click publish and wait some time. So now it is publishing, and you can see https:// YeSkyWeb-web app. This is what we have created as app service. And this is where we have published our web app. But Azure has attached these Azure websites. This is the default. So this is not what we are interested in. So we'll see how we can have our own domain name at YeSkyWeb.com rather than this Azure default attached URL. Now let us test our application. We can see that it is published, but can our application log in and interact with the database? So let's log in to the application and interact with the database. Let us try login. When we try to log in, we have this error, and the error is clearly saying the connection string is not available. The connection string is null. You remember how we configure connection string in program.cs and how that program.cs is interacting with the database. So now we have this error, the detail of development error. Let me go to Azure in the app service. So this is our app service, be in the app service, be in the overview, and then go to the configuration. In the configuration, you have two choices. One of the choice is first you have to go to this place, view and edit your application setting and connection string from environment variables. So you have two options here for app setting and connection string. In this app setting, if you see ASP.NET Core environment, this is the one that controls the detail error displaying. If we want to make this, this value development, then detail error like this one will be displayed. But if you just change this one, for instance, to production, that detail error will not be displayed. So let me apply. You have to restart it. So now if you go to this website URL and try to log in, let me try again. So how can you restart your website? If you go to this overview under the app service, you will see a URL here, or you can go to, you can see this one, YeSkyWeb, Azure website, or you can go to the Visual Studio, where you can see this web application is successfully deployed at this URL. So I will go from here, and it is displaying the page, but when I try to interact with the database, this is the error. The error is not clear. So the development environment shouldn't be enabled for deploying application. It can result in displaying sensitive information from exceptions to end users. For local debugging, enable the development environment by setting the ASP.NET Core environment variable to deployment and restarting the application. So when it was development, as you remember, in ASP.NET Core environment, when this value was development, everything was visible, but now this is the error. So it will not tell you anything. So it is saying before we realize that the connection string was not configured or it is empty. So let's configure the connection string. How to configure connection string in the in the Azure? Be in the home, and then go to your app service, and then go to the overview, go to the configuration. And once you are in the configuration, you can see this option to go to environment variable menu. Under the environment variable menu, you can see app settings or connection strings. Under this connection string, you can click this connection string. So I will configure the right connection string, but for your demonstration to add connection string, what you do is that click here, add connection string. Here you have to put the name of the connection string. Here you have to put the value of the connection string. Let me demonstrate with a practical approach. So let me go to my connection string. So in this connection string, if you see, I have this, the name of the connection string is, I will copy this. This is the name of the connection string. Just input here the name. The value of the connection string is, go to this is the value. So take only the value, not don't include the double quotation, don't include the semicolon. So I will take only the value, then configure that here. And also the type that we are interacting or using is SQL Server. But for your case, when you develop the Azure SQL Server, you have to select the right database type. But the database type that I am using is this one. Then once I do this, what I do, I will say apply, then again apply. Okay, this is how you configure, but I will configure the correct one very quickly. I will delete the other one, and then I will go to connection string, and then I will delete this one. Yes, I can delete here. Then once you delete, you have to confirm. It will restart. Now let us see if our application is, doing as expected. When you go to the overview, you can see this. You can click this. Now let us try to interact with the database. Go to the database. Go to the login, user1, YeSkyWeb.com, 123, try to login. So if our connection string is correctly configured, yes, we can, now we are interacting correctly with the database. Now we can do anything. We can create course. If you remember, YeSkyWeb user1 can create course. You can check, say, test course creation from Azure, deployment, whatever you want to say, 1, 2, 3, create. So this is created. So you can also, you can create a forum, and also you can comment. But if you remember, the creation of forum post is not allowed for user1 because user1 is admin. It is not forum member. Only forum member can post, but you can try. So access is denied. So you have to log out and log in as user2. Now user2 can create the forum post. Let us see. Quick test after deployment, whatever. Since we are testing, now we able to do what we want to do. And also you can comment whatever you want to comment, but anyone who is logged in can comment on it. Not only user1, user2, but other can comment on it. So we properly configured our connection string in Azure. We properly published our application to Azure, and we have tested our application. So our application is working. You can see every page is working as expected. You can also test, some deleting some courses. Yes, it is properly working. It's deleting as expected. We can also edit as usual. It is updating. So yes, everything is working as expected. Now, but we are not interested in this. So what you do to buy the domain from Azure, when you are in your app service, mostly you are under overview. Under the overview, this domain will be visible. Then go to this add custom. So here you have two options: add custom domain or buy app service domain. Now we are interested to buy the domain. So here our domain will use this resource group. enter a domain name and select it from the list. If you don't see the domain you enter, it is not available. All domains shown here are available for 11.99 USD each. So let us see if www.YeSkyWeb.com is available. So let's see. This domain is not available. So it gave us options. Yeah, this one is available, skywebs.org. Let us go to this skywebs.org. So let us review. Okay, now we are reviewing, but we have to provide this basic information first. Basic information is already provided, and we have to provide our name. We have to provide, last name, first name. We have to provide, valid email address and also country code. So every legal information and identification should be provided. Once we provide, we can review and we can buy this domain. So let me summarize this presentation. So as a summary, the final deployment after configuring all settings and updating is a connection string, publish your application directly from Visual Studio to Azure App Services, and then monitor the deployment status in a Visual Studio output window for any errors or warnings. In our case, for instance, even the target frameworks, the configuration that we have used, even the site that we published. If there was any error, it will be displayed here. So let us continue. Now let us summarize the key pointers. The first question you may have is, what about if I have an application and if I have an existing application? The application that we have, deployed using, the latest technology, ASP.NET Core 6 Razor page is easily deployable to Azure. But what if we have existing application? So there is a lift and shift approach. We can move our application to Azure with minimal changes just by updating the .NET framework to 4.8 if the .NET framework is 3.5 or earlier. And also, this is possible because the deployment service, Azure App Service, is supporting .NET Framework 4.8. So we can use this advantage, and we can deploy .NET Framework developed applications to Azure. That's one. But if we want to use other deployment services such as AKS deployment services, we may need to re-architect our applications, or if we want to use Azure Functions, we may need to re-architect our applications. Our .NET Framework 4.8 applications may not be compatible with some of the deployment services that Azure has. That is one point. So we actually have developed from ground up the ASP.NET Core 6 Razor page web app, and we have used the Visual Studio, we have created app services, we published our application from Visual Studio, and there are some of the considerations that we have to do is we have to assess and plan. We have to understand the requirement and create a detailed migration plan. For instance, we have to assess our current environment, and we have to decide on the migration strategy. Is it lift and shift, or should we re-architect our application? We have to plan for dependencies and potential changes. Also, we have to use migration tools. For instance, we can utilize Azure migrations and other tools to assist in moving our existing applications. Tools such as Azure Migrate, Data Migration Assistant, and Azure Site Recovery tools can be used. We have to be cost conscious. We have to understand resource costs. Every resource deployed in Azure incur costs, whether it is being actively used or not. We can, create, learn, and delete. So we have to monitor our usage. We have to delete unused resources. We have to utilize budget alert when we use Azure. This is the assignment reminder, last part. You are expected to develop an Azure SQL database for additional Azure deployment experience. Thank you very much for attending. See you in the next session.